The Central Minnesota Farm Show celebrates its 50th anniversary during 3 days, Tuesday, February 28th through Thursday, March 2nd at the Rivers Edge Convention Center in St. Cloud.
Sam Pandolfo, the guy who invented the pan car,
Sure.
died up in Alaska. His wish was to be buried in St. Cloud. Okay, so Roy and some other people got a hold of Pandolfo's family, got permission to exhume the body, had it cremated, shipped down here. Now there's this friend of mine who's also part of the Pantowners Club, who's also a member of our Model A Club, is a potter. His name is Jasper Bond. So he made this urn to look like a radiator out of a pan car with the pan car emblem on it, and it's really good. So for the reburial of Sam Pandolfo, this friend of mine, Slim Carlson I talked to you about, has a pan car, and it was the last pan car Sam rode in.
Okay.
So what we did is, it was Slim and his wife in the front seat, Sam Pandolfo's grandson, and the urn, and myself sitting next to the urn, and we broadcast that live on the radio.
Wow.
So we're going down the road with this thing, and some of the neat, I guess, quirks that happen. We get in the pan car over at Slim's, and we get over to the Stearns County Historical Museum over there. And we get there, we get lined up for this procession. Roy's was going to bring his pan car, and then, of course, the club has a pan car. So it's going to be these 3 pan cars, and we're going to do this procession thing out to the grave site. Get a phone call. Slim gets a phone call. Roy's pan car won't start. He had it running the day before. It won't start. So they tried and this and that, la-di-da-da. Finally, they said, you know what, just bring your 19 Lincoln. At least it's the same year. So we get there. Now we're all getting ready, lined up, and police are going to escort us, right? Slim's car wouldn't start. So finally, we had to pull this thing to get it started. It's fine. We get out to the grave site, and even the mayor Kleiss was in, and he said some things. We're broadcasting this and stuff. Well, then I had to leave just before it ended because I had to go over to Princeton. Talk to Slim later on. The club car, when they get ready to leave at the end, would not start.
Wow.
All 3 of those pan cars wouldn't start that day.
Huh. Kind of makes you think there's something going on.
Yeah. And I don't really believe in all that stuff, but you know, and ghosts or whatever. But makes you wonder. I'm going,
was
okay.
that day.
Yep.
That's cool that you were able to be a part of that.
Yes.
I did know that general story, but I wanted to hear you tell it.
Yeah. So Roy Burnick was very instrumental putting this together and financing it and stuff like that because he wanted to fulfill Sam's wishes to be buried back here in St. Cloud. You know, Sam Pandolfo really loved the city of St. Cloud and stuff. And who knows what could have happened if it would have worked out for him. This could have been another Detroit.
Sure. Yeah. That's right.
That car was really advanced for its time.
Yeah. Beautiful.
It's a neat car, but the whole thing to be involved again with Pandolfo's grandson and stuff. So I was kind of interviewing him back and forth, kind of thing.
Right.
What do you think could have happened? If this would all, we'd have a little Detroit here, and your grandfather was so far advanced. Matter of fact.
Well, then we probably wouldn't have lived here.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe.
But I'm going to get to radio here, Bob, and the farm show.
One second okay. Though. Pandolfo is the gentleman who invented the folding card table.
The folding card table?
Folding card table?
Yeah?
He invented that.
Wow.
Yes. There's actually there's some kitchen utensils that Pandolfo manufactured, egg beaters and stuff like that. He didn't invent those, but he manufactured them.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
Wow. I had no idea of that chapter. He probably made more money on that than he did with the cars.
Yeah, probably so.
Probably so.
Unfortunately, he wound up going to prison, for, getting back to Pandolfo, the reason he wound up in prison was a technicality. He was advertising, had a aerial picture of the plant, and they were advertising a bird's eye view of the plant. Okay, seeing he was sending stuff through the mail, back then they classified there was no such thing as a bird's eye view. So on a technicality, and of course, mailing stuff through the mail fraud, so on and so forth, kind of like the Tucker thing, where it all went south. Pandolfo wound up spending, a few years in Leavenworth.
Wow.
And when he got out, he came back to the city of St. Cloud, and I think the city of St. Cloud had a homecoming parade and a big get-together. And I think they gave him some money to try to maybe start another company.
Sure.
He went to Alaska.
Okay.
And died up there. So, anyways.
Well, I would be happy to drink your beer as you tell me more about this. I had no idea that you were the authority on this particular part of St. Cloud history.
I'm not authority on it, but just hanging around the people that are, people like Roy Burnick and stuff. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really cool.
I'm here with Bob Weber, who is also known in these parts as Mr. Nashville, and I am proud to say that I was instrumental in bringing him to his radio career with WVAL. Bob, that's somewhat true, isn't it?
It's very true. The two people who brought me to VAL is yourself, Al Neff, and the great Hank Williams.
What did Hank have to do with it?
Because of Hank Williams and my obsession with him and collecting and studying on the man, we got together and I was sharing with you all the information that I knew about Hank Williams, and you said, we need to do a show on Hank Williams, and I go, yes, I'm in. And that was the event that opened the door for me there. September 17th, 1999, we did a 6-hour live broadcast all on Hank Williams, and here we are, 17 years later.
And I would say that Hank Williams for you is more than the tip of the iceberg, but then I started to realize your amazing literacy and passion for country music, and I just thought, well, this guy has got to be on the radio. So I said, follow me this way, right? Took you into the studio.
Yep. And yeah, that's true. I love studying country music history, and for whatever reason, I retain that stuff. Stuff I learned in school I didn't retain so well, but if I like something, it retains, it sticks. And country music's actually my first love, and of course when I grew up. Actually, when I grew up, the person who had the biggest influence on me when I was very young was Johnny Cash, because you got to remember that was the late '60s when I was growing up, and Cash was hitting really hard. His TV show and watching him on TV, that made a big impression on me. It wasn't until I was 13 who I discovered Hank Williams was, and that's when my whole world turned. I found out who this guy is and studied him.
Talk about some of the artifacts that you have. Just a few, but you have an amazing collection of country physical things that tie in with country music history.
Yeah, one of my hobbies, too, is collecting country music memorabilia, like you said. And a number of the prized possessions that I have is an actual tie that Hank Williams wore on stage. Unfortunately, the pictures are out there of him wearing it are from his last 6 months of his life, towards the end of his career. I actually have the curtains that hung in his house when he came to Nashville, some of the wrought iron fence from his house in Nashville. I actually have the bed sheets and curtains that came out of his mother's home in Montgomery, Alabama, out of his room. I got some sheet music books that were in the back of the Cadillac on his last trip. Coffee cup and the saucer from his personal dinner collection. I'm trying to think what else I have, but yeah, it's pretty. And
that's just Hank Williams. Don't you also have Minnie Pearl's tea set?
I have Minnie Pearl's silver tea set, serving dish. I'm trying to think what else. Johnny Cash's tuxedo jacket. One of Johnny Cash's harmonicas that he used in a concert show. Actually the hang tags or name tags off their instrument cases that says the Johnny Cash Show, and on the back which instrument it belonged to. So it was Johnny Cash's or John Carter's or June Carter's. And one of Patsy Cline's dresses. I have a shirt.
Anybody's underwear?
No.
All right. Okay, let's talk about WVAL directly.
Yes.
How about, what is it that appeals to you? It's kind of a rare station, not just in its format, playing classic country, but in the facility, the Red House that's been there since 1962.
What a great story on that. And it's just how everything all seems to work out in the end. To have a great station like that right in our backyard. And the story, how it all came about, is just as fascinating as the music that we play, I think. Herb Hoppe and his wife started that back in the 1960s, and they built it as a house in case the station would fail. They had a place to live. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very, smart ingenuity on Herb's part, and Herb's hand-on everything. Yes, he used to be a radio announcer, but he was also the guy that built the thing, and on his Caterpillar, building a driveway and doing all that stuff. He does
up those towers, 300 feet,
climbing towers and changing light bulbs and stuff. He was the the all-around guy, you know.
And then in the afternoon, you put on a nice shirt and go do sales.
Go do sales, yes, absolutely. He made enough money to send all his kids to college.
7 of them.
Yeah, and Herb told me, he goes, there's a lot of 50-cent ads that put my kids through college, you know. So, and Herb loved country music. And of course, that was, you know, the music of that time back in the 1960s that he played, you know, all those hits. And of course, you know, music had changed, and, you know, the station had changed and went off the air for a number of years. I used to listen to VAL when I was a kid. And matter of fact, yeah, oh, absolutely. And somewhere at home, buried somewhere, I might have some cassette tapes of some recordings, you know, from listening to VAL, you know, so I could, you know, listen to songs and what have you. And there was a few times that we actually came to St. Cloud and drove by, and I just kind of fantasized as a kid, it'd be cool to be a radio DJ someday. I never set out to be a radio DJ. It all came, like we told earlier, it all just kind of fell into place. But, yeah, fascinating story. It's great that it's in our backyard. There's not that many stations that I know of that are full-time classic country. And one thing that I'm very proud of all of our announcers, each one of our announcers does have a background in the knowledge of the music that we play. So they're pronouncing the names right. Not Roy Acuff, it's Roy Acuff. Not Lefty Frizzell, it's Frizzell.
Right.
You know, and I think that's what's part of the charm of the hometown country radio station. We're not corporate. Our playlist does not come from consultants in New York. It comes from us. And even though I'm the music director there, I do ask for input from my other announcers. What do you think this, that, so on and so forth, what we should be playing. And yeah, I think that's the charm about it. Unlike corporate radio, where here's the set list, you cannot veer off of it. And I let all the announcers, you know, have some leeway of playing it. If something's pertinent going on that day in history or whatever, play what feels right, you know.
Maybe even something in their lives, something that happened to them that day.
Exactly.
So there's that human connection. And I love it that the people have the character. You know, the farmer's daughter, Linda, really is a farmer's daughter.
She sure is.
And I can certainly see Cindy being a honky-tonk angel.
Absolutely.
Right? Now talk about your Mr. Nashville character. It sort of spun out of radio, right?
Well, it's kind of funny. I never came up with that name myself. Yeah, years ago when I used to work for a John Deere dealership, me and my wife had came back from Nashville, and one of the mechanics, as I come walking in after coming back from my trip, well, here he is, he's Mr. Nashville. I thought, okay, fine, cool. And then, you know, I kind of got involved in the radio thing and in the mobile DJ business, and I thought about, you know, there's DJs doing a wide variety of music, and they're all great people. I wanted to specialize just in one format of music. Bands do it. Why can't a DJ do it? So, of course, getting back to my first love, country music, so I was trying to think of a name for this, and that Mr. Nashville thing kept coming back, and it just kind of stuck, you know. So here we are, you know.
And thank goodness you have such a forgiving wife, and she actually even became, for some time, she was Mrs. Nashville.
She is Mrs. Nashville on occasion, yes. Sometimes when we get, you know, a little, I don't want to say too much work, but you know, she has a steady gig once a month on a Friday night. At one of the local places we work for, and she's Mrs. Nashville for the night.
Wow. But you don't consider her competition?
Oh, absolutely not.
You don't say that on camera. No. All right. Well, how about just a shout out to the people that put together the farm show here? Tell us what you enjoy about this event.
Well, you know, this has been going on, I believe, for 50 years now, if I'm not mistaken,
right.
And it's just fantastic. We had 1,200 people come through yesterday. I wasn't here yesterday, but that's what the powers to be tell me, that 1,200 people. And of course, you know, we live here in central Minnesota. A lot of great farmers out there, and it's a great chance to see them come in and look at all the new gears and gadgets and what all the vendors have to offer from year to year. So yeah, it's a great turnout. You know, everybody seems to be walking through and seems to be in a good mood and stopping by our WVAL booth to register to win one of the pedal tractors that we've been giving away for a number of years. And yeah, it's all good.
It's nice to see people on the other side of the radio, actually be able to see them and they can see us and shake a hand and talk about music or whatever. I met a guy yesterday that had won the tickets to the waffle breakfast that we gave away recently with the Holy Spirit Church, you know? Nice to see the guy that got to eat those waffles.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's always great to meet new people out there that maybe never seen us. And of course, it's always great to see our friends that stop by year after year for howdy and a handshake, and maybe drink some coffee, and again, register for the tractor, and so it's all a great time.
And this has become kind of a tradition with us. We've given those away for years, right? The pedal tractors.
Ever since I've been involved in it. So, we want to give a plug for our friends over at Midwest Machinery for supplying us with the 2 pedal tractors that we'll be giving away this year. And sometime this week we'll be drawing a couple names out and some lucky.
When are we going to make that drawing? Do we know?
I do not know yet. We'll talk about that and find out. It'll be later on, after the farm show. Probably, I'm guessing right around Friday.
Okay.
Because farm show runs yet through tomorrow, Thursday. So probably Friday.
Sounds good.
And I'm very proud of the fact that we now have WVAL stickers too. Okay, that's when you know you've really arrived as a radio station, when you have bumper stickers.
We've come to town now that we got bumper stickers.
Right on.
That's right.
All right.
But it's amazing to drive around and to see those stickers out on different vehicles. So it's great. And I want to thank all the listeners out there throughout the years for listening to WVAL, Minnesota's country legend. Your home for classic and traditional country music, and that's where it's at. And I love all the positive comment that people make. So
well done, Bob. You should be on the radio. And you actually do look like you sound.
Matter of fact,
you got to get there.
Matter of fact, in a couple hours, I'll be back on the air and stuff. So it's a great place to work for. The hometown charm, mom and pop owned and operated. In this day and age, that's a lot. That's great.
Yep. Well, I'm glad I found you, wandering in the wilderness and was able to bring you to the microphone. Well done.
Well, thank you very much for bringing me in and stuff. It's been a great ride.
All right, we'll keep on riding. I'll see you there.
We'll see you in the sunset.
Thanks.